everyone, welcome back to the I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now podcast, where we tell true stories of survivors of true crime, natural disasters, and everything else in between. How's it going, Michelle?
It's going well.
Yeah.
It's going well.
That is going well.
I don't know what else to say.
We've been chatting, and it's been ups and downs.
It has been ups and downs. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Just like that.
Yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah.
It was happy, then it was sad, and
then we had 5 farms.
Yes, then we had 5 farms.
And there we go.
Once again, fuck you, 5 farms, because your Irish cream is so delicious.
Now it's like out at our liquor store every single time I go.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I like to say that we had
a little something to do with it.
Maybe, but
probably not.
At least my dad, he's like, yeah, that stuff is great. He always has some. So.
Well, I hope so. I know it's every time I have some in the house, it ends up being gone because I just have little sippers of it at night. You know, you take a little shot glass and you play a little video games, and all of a sudden you've had 4 shots. You don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
That sounds like a good night.
Yeah, it's good times.
Well, Michelle, you actually invented this drink. You were inspired by one drink, but you totally made it yourself.
Yes, it morphed along the way due to necessity, perhaps, but it ended up being pretty good. Well, I made some rose syrup, and so how to do that is it's like a cup of sugar, a cup of water, which makes your simple syrup, and then once that's all cooked up, you let it boil for like 1 second, you turn it off. Once it's cooled, you add a little rose water to it. So it's a tablespoon of that, and that sort of becomes the base. So we have our rose syrup that we've made, and so you put what I did. Okay, so this made 3 drinks. So I put 4 ounces of gin to 2 ounces of this rose syrup that we made.
Okay.
You mix that up in a shaker over ice, and then you pour it over ice, and in your glass you've got rose petals and mint leaves that you sort of maybe muddled up a little bit. And then you fill up your glass like halfway with your gin rose mixture, and then you top it with Sprite. Boom. You have this like floral, refreshing, pretty drink.
Yeah, and we call it
the Pretty Rose.
That's right.
After Michelle Pretty.
Cute.
It's very handy having a last name like that.
I know, right?
It's great.
Pretty and wise. Like
I know.
Hey.
Oh my god. What
What
is your drink gonna be? The wise something. Ooh. I feel like it's gotta have like, I don't know, whiskey or
whiskey.
I
hate whiskey.
I know, not whiskey. I don't know what. It's gotta have some sort of like, whatever wise.
Punch in the face or no?
Yeah.
Well, what's wise?
I don't know. I was thinking I can just see something that's like a dark and.
Ooh.
A dark and moody or whatever those. What are the
dark and stormy?
Dark and stormy.
Dark and moody. That's fair.
That is Caitlin. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, we'll think about it. That'd be nice. But this drink, I do feel pretty like drinking it. Like I feel high class, and like you said it'd be good for like a bridal shower.
Yeah,
or something
exactly.
Like that.
If you need a pretty drink that just makes you feel pretty when you drink it, this is it.
Refreshing. It's very light. It's very beautiful, and I wish I wore makeup today.
It's exactly right. I did. I don't know about you.
I sure didn't.
Yeah, I popped some eyeliner on just for you, Caitlin.
Thank you. All right, should we go into it?
Should we jump in?
Yeah.
All
right. So this story is about Joseph Samuels. So I'm taking us way back.
Way back.
So I'm taking us to 1795.
I did nail it. I'm so sorry.
That was good.
Oh, it sounds just like Ghostbusters. That's going to be our new thing if we ever guess each other's story.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
Going to be...
No, Michelle did guess my story, so...
Yeah, she said she was doing a recurrence of something that we had told a long time ago.
Yeah, like episode 3, I think.
I think this was one of my very favorite ones. And as I said in that one, I'll say again, we're kicking it old school.
That's right. So it's 1795 in England, and Joseph is 15 years old, and he is arrested for larceny.
What?
So he was actually sentenced to 7 years at 15 years old.
I want to know what he stole. It was probably like an apple or a loaf of bread, like Aladdin did.
So in 1801, they shipped him to Australia. Australia had a penal colony at Sydney Cove, and security in these early penal settlements were reinforced by the isolation of the colonies, and guards trusted the Australian wilderness to kill anyone who tried to escape.
Yes, that sounds right. I do think the Australian wilderness would probably kill anyone who tried to escape.
Absolutely.
If it's not a giant bug that landed on them, it's probably a poisonous snake or some awful thing in the water.
Or even a kangaroo, man. Those things look muscular.
They do, and they look like they can straight up punch you in the face.
Yeah.
I think I saw 2 kangaroos boxing one time. Oh, okay.
In person?
No.
Oh.
It was a video.
No,
Are you kidding me? That would have been the first thing I was talking about in this episode. We're in Australia. I saw some kangaroos boxing once.
But actually, Joseph did escape.
Oh.
And he escaped with a group of other men. And in night of August 26, 1803, so he was in Australia in 01, so no, it's been 2 years.
Okay.
Joseph and the other men actually robbed Mrs. Mary Breeze.
Mrs. Mary Breeze.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they stole 24 guineas, which we looked up, which is like gold coins.
And hopefully we're saying it right, but if we're not,
Whatever.
Sorry, Australians.
Well, it's the British money.
Sorry, British.
Silver dollars and some other small change, and also a desk.
Oh.
Random. Yeah.
That is random.
But
Get the desk.
Yeah.
Like, that's weird.
But an off-duty officer shows up while they're robbing them, and one of the men actually kills him. But they proceed to rob the house, and then they leave.
Okay. Who's killed? I'm sorry.
The off-duty officer
was killed by our gang of escaped prisonees.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
So the next day, the officer's body was found, and close to his body was the desk and a blood-stained wheel.
What?
The military was called in to investigate and search for the assassins. Witnesses said that they saw Joseph and another man named Isaac Simmons and a few other men at the end of Mrs. Breeze's garden the night before.
Okay.
So they've been seen.
I see.
Also searching the area, police finds a barrow without its wheel.
Oh.
Police go...
Wait, so it's a... Okay, no, continue on.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask any questions just yet.
So police go to where Joseph and Isaac were lodging, where they were maybe known to be at.
Maybe they had been seen or...
Yeah.
Okay.
And they found the wheel to the barrow with them.
How bizarre.
So, what a random fact.
What a strange robbery this was.
Yeah.
Get the money and the desk, and I want that wheel. I'm not leaving without that wheel.
Leave the rest, get the wheel.
Yeah. Sorry, officer, you're dead. I need that wheel.
So
that was maybe a little insensitive. I apologize.
Well, they questioned the two men, but Joseph actually still had some stolen coins in his pockets. So he confessed to the robbery, but did not confess to the murder because he's like, that was not me.
I don't know who that was. Oh my god. Never mind. Have you seen Keanu?
Oh no, I haven't.
Oh my god. There's this whole part where he's like, thanks for helping me murder. And it's like, but I didn't help murder. But you did help murder. No, technically speaking, I didn't help murder. So anyway,
just like that.
You may cut. Yeah, I wrapped up the whole movie for you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
It's like my favorite movie.
Is
you
it?
Should watch it.
I should watch it.
Don't try to do a survival story on it.
I won't.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh, what if I did though? You would
hate
I didn't
me. Know the whole time.
You would hate me.
Especially if you fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Oh, you probably would too.
So
Keanu! Sorry.
So the other men were actually acquitted of the crime because there was lack of evidence. Isaac Simmons even refused to confess to anything of any of the crimes.
Yeah.
Like, not even the robbery, nothing. He's like, nah, not
he
me.
Ain't no snitch. I didn't do anything.
So Joseph was convicted by the court and sentenced to be hung by the neck until death.
So...
What? Questions?
I did. It's gone from me.
Okay. So, it is now September 26, 1803. So they robbed it in August, and now, so he's being hung at the end of September.
I think really the moral of this story is don't confess.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean...
Sorry. Continue on. You're like, thanks for that morally bankrupt statement.
So Joseph is now 23 years old. So he's being hung at such
So this started when he was 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Joseph and another man named James Hardwick, who was convicted of something else, they didn't say, but they were brought to the gallows the same time near the Brickfield Hill. Reverend Samuel Marsden and Joseph Marcus were the two to prepare the men for the noose. So the Reverend asked for a confession from the condemned men and also prayed with them as well. So these gallows were not like the elevated ones where like you drop and they snap your neck.
Okay.
That was actually going to be a century
later.
Yeah, a century later that happens.
Oh.
So what they did is that these men were tied to a tree, and they were standing on carts, and then they had a horse with the cart. So they would hit the horse, and the horse would like run,
and the bottom would essentially drop out from under him.
Well, like the cart would
be gone.
leave, and then so that way it didn't snap their neck, and that way they slowly strangled to death. So it could take hours for them, depending.
Oh my God.
So that's, ugh. So to ensure the strength in the rope, they used a rope that was made of 5 thick cords of hemp. Okay. So it's pretty thick. This rope would be able to hold around 1,000 pounds without breaking.
Okay.
So these are,
strong ropes.
Yeah.
Hashtag rope strong.
That's right. Now, before the men were put to death, they had a chance to make a final statement. Joseph proclaimed that he indeed commit the robbery, but the real murderer was standing in the crowd right now.
Was it Isaac? Is how he's like, it was him.
Joseph identifies and points out Isaac Simmons standing in the crowd. He already prayed and was about to die, so why would he lie? A lot of people in attendance seemed to believe him and even attempted to seize Isaac. Authorities quiet down the people and they move forward with the hanging. So they kind of like, no, okay, yeah.
We're not going to listen to him.
Right.
Go for it.
So as the horse moved away, the two men began to hang. But Joseph's rope broke, causing him to drop to the ground and sprain his ankle.
As everyone's like, it's a miracle, he didn't do it.
Right? Another rope was quickly brought in, though.
Like, no.
Yeah. Again, he was all set up. The horse galloped away, but this time the rope unraveled, extending the rope enough to allow his boots to touch the ground.
What? That's wild.
I know. The crowd is now in a frenzy and demand Joseph to be released because this must be...
Like
this
a
must
sign.
mean, that he's innocent.
Yeah. It was Isaac.
Right?
Just like he said.
So the police are like, no. And bring a third noose in.
Oh my gosh.
This rope was thoroughly inspected, so maybe third time is a charm, I guess.
We're going to get this guy hung.
This time, the rope broke. The third time.
Oh God.
And now people are uncontrollable.
Yeah.
The marshal ordered the execution to be delayed until they could find the governor. The governor came, and after examining the 3 ropes for tampering, he couldn't find any. So he actually agreed with the crowd and thought that this was a divine intervention and a sign from God.
Isaac!
Yeah. Joseph was pardoned and went to the town doctor to tend to his sprained ankle.
Oh my goodness. So, that's insanity.
Right?
I can't even imagine, like, the stress that his body has gone under, like, has gone through at this point, where, the adrenaline of almost being hung and then... 3 times. Or hanged. I guess it's hanged.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I'd be pissed if I was the other guy. That rope didn't break.
Yeah, he's probably just hanging there the whole time.
And he's like, he gets to go, and... Oh my gosh. I'd be so pissed.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be so mad. But Isaac Simmons was convicted of the murder of the policeman, and he was sentenced to hang. But his rope held up.
Yo, dang. Sorry, Isaac. It was you.
It was. So, but unfortunately, Joseph continued his life of crime.
Oh, no.
And he continued to steal.
He's like, ha ha ha, I got away with it again. I got out of prison. I got out of being hanged.
Yeah. But he continued to steal, and he was caught, and he was put in prison. So in 1806,
Not that much longer.
3 years after he was
his hanging situation.
He escaped again with 8 other convicts. They stole a boat and were never seen again. It was assumed that they all drowned.
They're effing pirates now, is what they are.
Probably.
Oh my God. They did not drown.
At the age of 26, he escaped again and tried to get away from Australia, I guess.
He probably became, like, the richest man somewhere.
Right? And, maybe. Yeah. How crazy, right?
The fact that he escaped from prison twice. I mean, I guess...
I mean, back then, I don't know. Like,
yeah. I mean, it sounded like the guard wasn't super,
strict
with...
the wilderness and such. Yeah.
You'll never live out there. So.
Oh, yeah. Like, good luck. Okay, bye. So, that's crazy, though.
Did you tell this story before?
This story?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it was just similar to...
It was similar, yes. It was a woman who...
Before.
Yes.
But that was back in the 1700s too, wasn't it?
Correct. Yes, I believe so. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was also a good story.
That was a very good story.
This was a good one as well.
Thank you.
I thought it was going to be a complete, like... retelling of the same story.
Oh, you can... I think it's still up on our website. I think it's
episode 2 is what it is. Oh, now it's on. Now we're going to see.
Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
Episode 3.
Damn it!
This is the news. So, episode 3, that's like when we very first started the podcast. If you really want to listen to it, it's on our website. It's not anywhere else, so...
It's pretty funny, though.
It is pretty good.
That is one of my favorites.
Yeah. So, all right. So, good. I mean, Joseph he was innocent of...
I know. I don't know if I want to say, like, good job, Joseph.
That's true. That's very true. Because he persevered. He was a criminal. But he was a criminal. Yeah. But he didn't kill people.
No, that's true. Only Isaac killed people.
Yeah, exactly. So...
That's wild.
Yeah.
I bet he... lived for some time.
You think so?
That is that's what I think. I think he straight up became a pirate with those 8 other dudes, and they, like, wrecked the sea all around him.
That'd be kind of a cool story.
I'm stealing more shit. I know, now I found this story on Blackbeard, who happened to head out at 1805.
Could you imagine if that was hit? Oh my gosh. That'd be awesome.
That would be awesome.
All right, Michelle, it is all you.
It's my story time.
It is. And I'm excited because you said it's an interesting one.
I know. Do we have time for like one more shot? Is
sure.
that bad? Yeah, you got nowhere to be. All right. Quickie shot. Cheers. I love you, Five Farms. Okay. So I'm going to take us back to 1985.
Oh, okay.
So this story is about Joe Simpson.
Okay.
And so at the time he was 25 years old. So these 2 gentlemen are the first people to scale the west face, excuse me, of the Sayula Grande. I don't know what that is. I'm assuming it's a mountain that's very high up.
Fair enough.
And it's in the Peruvian Andes.
Oh, okay.
So we're mountain climbing is what we're doing. Simon and Joe are 2 British climbers, and again, this is the first time anyone has gone up this particular side of this mountain.
First time
ever. And so they get to the top. They're super triumphant. They're the first men to have ever done this particular climb. It's very exciting. But unfortunately, that triumph turned quickly to nightmare.
Oh.
So they start heading down, and about a third of the way down, Joe is thinking, don't fall here. This is a especially treacherous part of the rock face. Simon was coming down along with him, so there was some slack in the rope in between them. And Joe Simpson puts his right axe into the mountain, and then the ice just disintegrates right underneath him.
Oh, no.
And so he falls through, and he lands on the base of a cliff.
Whoa.
So he just barely sort of makes it down. But what ended up happening is, so he landed on his right leg, and his right knee locked backwards.
Oh.
It sounds terrible. And because of his crampons being sort of in the ice, just so, it sort of maximized the force of the fall on his leg. So what ended up happening is his tibia, which I think is down in your shin area, punched through up into his femur, which is up in his thigh.
Oh my gosh!
So it effed up his leg hard, is kind of the bottom. It went through his knee, and it totally destroyed his two menisci, or cartilage in his knee. It fractured his heel, it fractured his ankle, and there was like ligament damage and nerve damage through his whole leg.
Holy cow!
He said the pain was excruciating.
I couldn't even imagine.
I couldn't even imagine.
That description is awful.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh. So at first, Joe is in total denial. So he tries to stand up, and then felt all of the bones not working in his leg, and like pretty much had to go right back down. So Simon kind of comes over, and he's like, "Are you all right?" And he's just like, "I broke my whole leg." And he said that Simon's whole expression changed. That it was, because now, I mean, before, this is very treacherous, very scary.
Right.
Mountain. They're on a glacier. You know, there's ice and snow everywhere. It's, you know, life or death, big time. And now they were working as partners, and now one cannot help at all.
Right.
And needs to be reliant on the other one. And so they're thinking, oh my God, we have to get him 3,000 feet down with this leg that cannot work at all. So I think what Joe thought Simon was thinking is like, this guy's dead.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how we're going to do this. So they start to head down. So at this point, Joe thinks he had lost probably about a quart of blood internally. So he's bleeding all throughout
Oh my gosh.
But he was trying to go down as fast as Simon could lower him. So Simon is kind of letting him down on the rope until the rope is taut, and then he kind of follows a little bit, and then lowers him down a little bit more and follows. And so they've just been carrying on.
Inchworming.
Inchworming down this giant mountain. And so in the middle of these two ropes is a big knot that is like keeping the two ropes together. Essentially, what they would do is they would just sort of keep on pulling the ropes up until they got to that knot where they couldn't go any. And that's when they would sort of move forward a little bit, loosen the knot would go out, and then they'd pull it back until the knot came back. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Sorry if it doesn't. So they had this whole system going that was all based around this kind of knot being let go and then being pulled back up. And let go and being pulled back up. Anyway, so they're moving along, and it took them about an hour to go about 300 feet. And again, they have 3,000 to go. So it's going pretty slowly. So they were thinking, shoot, we only have to do this,
100 more times.
Yeah. 10 times more what we just did, and then we'll be there. But what they didn't realize is that they were in line with an ice cliff that was sort of hanging off the side.
Oh my gosh.
So at 9:30 p.m., Simon lowered him down a little bit further, and then he came to a stop, and he realized that he was just sort of free-floating in air. Like he had sort of just been lowered down this cliff. And they were trying to still like bring the knot, like the rope back up with the knot. But what ended up happening is because he was lowered over that cliff, he was not, Simon was not able to get that knot back up over the cliff face.
Okay.
And
it's too heavy.
He's too heavy because he's,
now dangling.
Joe is now dangling at the bottom. He can't get him up. And so Joe hung there for about an hour.
Really?
And then all of a sudden, Joe was free falling. So Simon had cut the line.
Oh my gosh, really?
And, in order to save himself, he could not get himself up. He wasn't, it just, everything he could do.
Whoa!
He couldn't get him up, and so he cut the rope.
That would be the hardest decision ever.
Oh, could you even imagine?
No, I don't know if I can make that. I mean, I guess it sounds like he's just been waiting for an hour thinking of like what he should do.
No, I think he struggled over it and tried, and pretty much is his last choice. It's either both of them are going to die or one of them dies.
Oh my gosh.
And so he made that choice. And I think that, I don't think it's a common choice that mountain climbers, but I think that is something you have to take into account when you go climbing and, these
Well, that's what happened in, it's a movie, but The Day After Tomorrow.
Oh.
The guy he cut himself off because he was dangling and they couldn't get him back up, so he just
like,
cut the
rope.
It. Yeah, yep. Just let me go. Oh my gosh, it's so sad.
Yes. So Joe hits the ridge of the crevice and he goes through. So he I guess there's sort of like this roof to this other bigger crevice. So he's Okay. So he's hanging over a cliff.
Yes.
And then he gets cut, and then there's sort of this frozen over layer to this new crevice that is even deeper. Okay. And so he falls, he punches through the roof of this like frozen over.
Yes.
And then ends up landing on kind of a ledge that goes over that if he had kept going or if he had landed wrong, he would have just kept on falling.
Oh, wow.
Like it, because it's even deeper.
Right.
And so he saw it when he, like, after he landed, he looked back up and the hole where he had just fallen through was 70 feet above him. Whoa. So he fell significantly far.
But still alive.
He's still alive. And he was just like, Simon's gone, And instead of being angry, what he realized is he was sort of relieved because at least somebody is out there that knows he's injured on the mountain. At least, at least somebody is alive that can, maybe mount a rescue for him. Okay.
Interesting. I wouldn't think that. I would think that he just thought I died after I fell off this ledge that he cut me off of.
Well, he does kind of come to that realization later.
Okay, sorry.
That is exactly correct. So once he landed, he tried to pull the rope again and was able to dislodge where the rope had been caught, and the rope just comes right down on top of him. So his first thought is that Simon is going to probably try to come down and find him. Aww. But it's nighttime and it's super dark, and so he's like, shit, he's not going to be able to see me in the dark. So he starts calling out Simon's name once every 5 minutes to kind of be a beacon for him to be found.
Okay. Oh, this poor guy.
I know. Ugh. So he said that he says crevasses can be a very scary place to be in. And I would like to say no shit.
Yeah.
And then he said the thought started creeping in that he's not getting out. And that's when sort of the panic started to really come in. Yeah. And he said he's ashamed now, but he totally broke down. Which I would have been broke down
way before,
long time ago. And he realized by 9:30 in the morning, about 12 hours from when this whole thing started, that Simon should have found him by this point.
Oh and he still thinks his friend is out searching for him.
Well, at this point he's realizing
it's not the case.
Simon is probably not coming because he would have come by now.
Right.
So he tried to climb up and he couldn't do it. And when he looked down, all he could see was darkness. Okay. It was the separation between a glacier and a mountain base. And so those can be 50 feet long or deep, or they can be 500 feet deep. It's super hard to tell. And so he didn't have the courage to just jump off his ledge to just go to the bottom.
Absolutely not. No.
I get that. So he was like, maybe I'll try to climb down. So he sort of clips his stuff into the wall. He's got his rope. And then he's like, if I go down there and I'm just hanging in space, why on earth would I want to climb back up? And I'll just spend 6 days dying here.
Right. Okay.
Free, just in space, hanging on the end of this rope.
You can't go up, so might as well go down.
Yeah. And so what he decided that if he was going to die, he was going to die in the sunlight. And, I know. So I guess at this sort of the towards one of the sides of the crevice,
okay,
there had been an avalanche. And so there was a bunch of snow that had accumulated in this one part.
Okay.
And so that's what he decides he's going to go towards. He's going to try to make it towards this unconsolidated snow. I'm not sure what that is.
But if he's going down, he won't be in the sunlight.
Well, he's sort of is thinking this is going to be his way out.
Oh, okay.
So, because it's right at the base of kind of the V of the crevice, is my understanding.
Okay.
And so there's a little bit of snow. So he's thinking he can get over that snow and then maybe be out in the fresh air.
I see.
And I'm not sure what unconsolidated snow is, but I'm assuming it's probably fairly light and fluffy.
Loose. Yeah, probably
loose snow. Mm-hmm. And so he was able to actually get to it with these hopping jumps. I'm not even fully sure. That's what it says.
Yeah, okay.
Joe, I apologize if I'm completely screwing up your story. But he wasn't even thinking about surviving at that point. He was just thinking about getting out into the sunlight.
Oh my god.
So he could die. Oh my god. So at 1:00 in the afternoon, he was actually able to drag himself out of this crevasse and see the sunlight. And he ended up giggling maniacally after he was like so excited that he had managed to make it out into the sun.
Oh my gosh.
So he saw where Simon's rope was and where it had been left off, where it had been cut. And it looks like he had continued down the glacier. Like he could see the evidence of, with a bunch of words I don't know. So he could tell, and that's when he knew you are for sure he's on his own.
Yeah.
Like, they don't do rescue operations for corpses.
Right.
And that's what Simon most likely thinks that he is. So he's realizing he's got to make it to base camp. And base camp is 1.5 miles down the mountain still.
Wow, a mile and a half.
Yes, plus another 6.5 miles. So it's 1.5 miles of on the glacier, and then 6.5 miles of mounds of debris left by the glacier in rocks. So it's rocky.
Right. Okay, not snowy, but rocky. Okay.
Yeah, rocky terrain. And he's realizing when you're trying to survive, the last thing you need is emotion. It's just a waste of energy. So he just became very pragmatic about, I just need to, he doesn't have any food. He can look at the state of his body. And his conclusion was like, you're not going to make it.
Yeah. How can you even stand? I can't even imagine.
He can't stand. Okay. But he said, if you die here, you'll be buried in the snow and you'll disappear forever. No one will ever know what happened to you. Except for, he fell into this terrible crevasse. So what he said, when you're alone for a long time with no conversations, nothing to read or see, your mind drifts. And he would think that he had rested for 5 minutes, and then he would look down at his watch and realize it had been 45 minutes. So he started making smaller goals for himself.
Okay.
So he would see sort of another crevasse up ahead and be like, I'm going to get there in 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. I can survive for 20 minutes. And then he would see a rock up ahead. And he'd be like, it'll take me 20 minutes to get there. And so he would just focus on getting to that. So that's sort of how he slowly started making his way down the mountain again. It created structure and discipline for him. And sometimes he would beat his target. Like he'd give himself 20 minutes and he'd get there in 18 or something. If he did not make it to his goal within the set amount of time, he would get completely pissed off and kind of... He'd lose it a little bit, but what it kept him from doing is thinking about the you're completely fucked side of his situation.
Oh, okay.
So on the last night, now it's been, I think, around 3 days.
Yeah.
So he's just been slowly making his way. He realized that he was starting to fail, that he was going in and out of consciousness. He was probably at this point maybe a 10-minute walk away from base camp. But it took him 9 hours to get
10 minutes?
To get that 10-minute walk.
Oh my god.
Again, he was in and out of consciousness. He was experiencing hallucinations, some enjoyable, some weird.
Oh.
He stopped looking at his watch, and then he And because he stopped looking at his watch, he sort of lost all sense of purpose because he stopped having those small goals for himself. He knew he was dying, so he started shouting. And he was shouting for Simon. He was shouting for Richard, who was their camp assistant, just hoping someone would hear him.
Yeah.
And I guess they did hear him, but they thought it was a dog.
What?
And so...
A dog?
They didn't, it didn't occur to him that...
Or he could still be alive.
Yeah, that it was Joe, because it's been 4 days, I guess, at this point.
4 days?
Yeah, and they just figured, they had counted him for dead, a long time ago. So Joe has been calling out, and no one's coming, and he realizes, and he is that close to base camp, someone should have come at this point. And so that sort of realization is completely crushing to him. He's like, well...
The fact that they could hear it.
I know. He realized, he's like, you're not getting out of this. Aww. And so there was, I guess, kind of a river, pretty close to the base camp. And so he thought if he crawled down to the riverbed, someone would definitely find his body. And so they would know what happened to him. And he wasn't really expecting to meet anybody there, but he was it was his plan.
Resting place.
Yeah, it was going to be his final resting place. It was his end game. He was going to die there.
Oh.
And what ended up happening is he inadvertently crawled through the campsite's latrine. And so...
Ew!
Yeah, no, super ew. He got completely covered. He said it smelled. He said human shit really does stink. But it acted sort of like smelling salts for him and woke him up.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden he realized, oh my God, I'm right here. The base camp is here. I'm practically saved. What am I doing going to die by the river? So what he didn't really realize is that Simon would probably also need to recover and be hanging out at the campsite still. And he saw what was a red and yellow dome-like thing that he thought was a spaceship at the time.
Oh no.
And then he saw these white beams come out, and then he heard Simon's voice. And then Simon and Richard suddenly appeared, and he just collapsed. And he was and at that point, he had lost 35% of his body weight.
Whoa.
And I guess...
In 4 days?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Of course, he went into ketosis when you're at that level of starvation. What is happening is the chemicals created by your liver are breaking down the proteins in your muscles and organs, and your breath starts to smell sweet, like nail varnish, I guess. I guess back in the day, they used to smell pretty sweet. So it was like a chemically sweet smell.
Interesting.
And so Simon got sort of a whiff of his breath and knew that he was in trouble.
Right.
He was in ketoacidosis, or i.e. he was dying.
Oh my gosh.
He needed salt and sugar in a big way. He needed a drip, but they didn't have any tubes or needles. And I guess there is a simple way to solve this. So if you're ever in this survival situation, you can fill a bottle with sugar and salt water and stick it right up your bum.
Oh,
and that will help get you hydrated.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I mean,
there
thank you.
Go.
Yes.
Actually, I did read that a long time ago, especially if you were in an area that doesn't have any clean drinking water and you're on the verge of, dying, you can stick dirty water
up your butt.
Your A and it will help keep you hydrated.
That's interesting.
So, but they didn't know that at the time. So he was barely conscious, and they rode a mule for 2 days, and they spent 23 hours in a pickup truck. And he was getting super pissed because all he wanted to do was sleep, but Simon was so worried about him and wanted to get him into medical help that he just sort of kept him awake the whole time.
Good, smart.
And it's just like, at this point, the mule, I guess, just kept walking into things. And he's just like, when the fuck is this going to end? Like, this is my living nightmare.
Yeah.
And so 11 days after he broke his leg, he got to the hospital.
11 days. Holy cow.
He ended up recovering, of course, after a while. And he ended up writing a book called Touching the Void. It took him like 7 weeks to write it after his experience.
That's fast.
Yeah, he had it on his mind. And what he said in it is the reason he likes mountaineering is not because it's dangerous or scary, but because there's a price to pay if you screw up. It's about mastering skill. And now he's a skilled speaker because he's been talking about his public speaking, about his experience. It's what really changed his life was not the shit time he had in Peru. It was about all the sort of life lessons he learned after that and who he became after that. And he's like, but if this hadn't happened, he probably wouldn't be financially secure. And now he is, because he's been doing all these like tours and inspirational speaking.
Okay.
He says he should have greater insight, but that's the truth, is what he says. So after all that, now he's a public speaker. He's not angry with Simon. He's angry with Simon for not having cut the rope sooner.
Oh, really?
Like, he shouldn't have let him spend all that energy, you know, trying to get him up for an hour. He should have cut him off sooner and made his way back to camp.
Oh.
But
that's such a moral dilemma right there, man.
I know. I would have struggled.
Right?
Yeah.
With
actually, we'd be up there. I'm like, sorry, Caitlin. You're stuck on that garbage can in the parking lot?
Bye, bitch.
I gotta cut you loose. No.
Oh
my god.
That's so, like, how much pain. Like, your leg is shattered. Your whole leg is shattered. You're bleeding from the inside. You have no food or drink for 4 days while you're trying to get down
down a mountain.
So you went through a crevasse.
Went through another crevasse. Oh no, you got
down
the cliff. Yes.
Down, over, up, or
no, continued down.
I guess
up a little bit as he made his way out of the crevasse, and then down.
I see. So instead of like Simon would go over the crevasse and continue down, he went down the crevasse and then kind of angled down.
Yes.
And out. Okay,
yeah.
I get it now. I see. I was very confused.
I know. I'm sorry.
Down and out. I was like,
what are you doing?
No,
and then there's snow. What is this? What is this BS?
That's lucky, because usually they just go down and down and down.
Yeah. Well, and he could have very easily.
Yeah.
I mean, he just sort of happened to land on a little ledge. If he had, or rolled over a little bit too much. Oh my god.
That's awful. See, I am not a mountain climber. So
oh my god, could you imagine me on a mountain? No, none of us can. God.
No, it's just, I don't have that thrill-seeking inside me to...
No.
Like Mount Everest, like, I'm not interested.
I mean, people get stuck on Mount Hood.
Right.
A lot.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think a fair amount of people are lost to Mount Hood forever.
I mean, if you're passing dead bodies on your way up to the top, I feel like you shouldn't be there.
That's words from the wise.
Yes, thank you.
Oh my god. That's what we'll have to call your drink, like...
My, Ashley, when I give her advice, she calls it the Wise Whisper.
Oh.
So I'm like, that's my book called. So I'm patenting it. You can't take it.
Well, now we need to come up with a drink called a Wise Whisper.
That'd be great.
So if you have drink suggestions on what we should pop into the Wise Whisper.
The Wise Whisper. Or it should be the Wise Whisper. That's more...
Maybe the Wise Whisper.
But that's a person. I'm just... Like, I'm giving wise whispers. So it's like a wise whisper.
Yeah, not a wise whisperer.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. It's time to wrap up, I think.
It is, yeah.
No more shots for Michelle, I guess. Whatever.
Well, those are very completely different, but really good stories.
Indeed.
Very interesting.
All rope related.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it should be called Rope Strong.
There we go.
That's the title. Boom. Got it.
Hashtag Rope Strong.
That's right.
Oh my god, that was my favorite part of that one episode. Episode 3. Is Caitlin Knows Best.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye.
Bye.